One of the most heartbreaking things that I ever experienced is finding someone who is a mission-driven messenger, who wants to make a difference in the world and wants to make enough money to build a personal brand. They can support their lifestyle by helping other people, but they fail. They fail because they don't make enough money to survive. In this video, I'm going to share with you the 3 biggest mistakes that personal brands make that cause them to fail. These are the 3 top reasons why most personal brands will never make enough money to support themselves, and they ultimately won't be able to survive. I'm going to give you the one overarching secret right now why personal brands don't make enough money to survive in one sentence. If you have diluted focus, you get diluted results. Anyone who is an expert of any type, a coach, a consultant, speakers, any type of professional service providers, direct sellers, any type of entrepreneur or small business owner, number one, you have too many topics. We see this with young speakers all the time. They're like, oh, I can speak on sales and leadership and communication skills and organizational change and hiring practices and social media and customer experience. Well, you might be able to get hired a couple times here and there, but if you're talking about all of those things, you're not the expert in any of those things. And this happens all the time with personal brands. Why? Because as humans, we're multidimensional. We have many different interests. We have many different sets of knowledge. Maybe there's many different things that you have learned, but that doesn't mean that you should talk about all of them publicly or professionally, or that those are the things that you should make a business out of. Instead, the more focused your topics, the more powerful you will be, the more likely you are to break through what we call Sheehan's wall. Right? In any given industry, there is a group of people who are unknown and those who are known. And in between the two is what we call Sheehan's wall. And in order to break through the wall, you don't throw a lot of stuff at the wall. You want to become the world's leading expert on one thing, one topic, one specifically narrow sliver of the market, and you become the world's leading expert on that thing. And that's how you break through the wall. And then once you're on the other side of the wall, you can expand into other things. My personal brand is a great example of this. I mentioned my first book, Take the Stairs. Well, that book hit the New York Times bestseller list, was a huge part of how I broke through the wall. That entire book is about solving one problem, procrastination, and it is on one topic, self-discipline. What is your uniqueness? What is the thing that you can talk about that nobody else can talk about, at least not quite like you? If you're too broad in your focus of topics, particularly when you're first starting out, people won't know what box to put you in, and you are much more likely to fail and not make enough money to survive. The second big mistake that personal brands make that cause them to fail and not make enough money to survive, they have too many audiences. You're more likely to change the world by changing a few lives in a deeper way. So choose the audience that you're most well equipped to serve. Choose the audience that you know the best. Choose the audience that you can serve in the deepest way. You are always most powerfully positioned to serve the person you once were. And finally, number 3, personal brands fail because they have too many revenue streams. You've probably heard this your whole life. You should have multiple streams of income. I am here to tell you that is terrible advice. You do not need multiple streams of income. When you're first starting out, you need one stream of income, one highly successful, high-performing, highly profitable stream of income. Building a business is hard. Creating any revenue stream and making it successful takes a lot of parts: marketing, sales, fulfillment, customer service, human resources, accounting, operations, IT. These are all the things that are required just to make one revenue stream successful. Well, if you're spending all of your time creating all these products, then you're not spending your time building the systems required to market and sell and service those products. And that is why most personal brands fail. When you have diluted focus, you have diluted results. So you're doing a lot of things very poorly instead of doing a few things really, really well. And this applies to your revenue streams. Almost every wealthy person in the world made their money by doing one thing really well. They were a football player. They were a musician. They invested in one company. They were an entrepreneur. They did one trait or skill really, really well, and that was how they made their money. And then once you have a lot of money, it's a different story. Once you have a lot of money, then you can hire people to be focused and manage things, and then you can diversify your income. You need to master one stream of income. So when you're building your personal brand, that means one product or one revenue stream or one service that you go all in on. And you say, this is the revenue stream that has the most natural momentum, and I'm going to double down on this one thing. So there you have it. These are the 3 most common mistakes that personal brands make in their monetization strategy, which cause them to fail and not be able to survive. They either have too many topics, too many audiences, or too many revenue streams. And in many cases, it's a little bit too much of all 3, and that is why they collapse. The personal brands that we have worked with that have succeeded tremendously doubled down on one stream of revenue. They went all in and made it work. They chose one audience that they could serve in a really deep way, and they chose one topic to become the world's leading authority on that thing. That is what we would encourage you to do. If you need help with that, leave a comment or a question down below so that we can respond. As always, we would love if you shared this video with someone that you think it would be useful for. Keep coming back here, and remember, if you have diluted focus, you will get diluted results.